Welcome back to Lariat TV News. Thanks for joining us. This week we bring you more information on McLennan County political candidates. I'm Maren Small.
And I'm Owen Carson. First, Baylor's tuition is going up.
As Baylor University begins to make plans for the 2026-2027 academic year, tuition increases have already been approved. The Baylor Board of Regents approved this tuition spike in their February meeting. President Linda Livingstone stated that Baylor is still focused on keeping the university affordable for families while maintaining the financial and sustainability of the institution.
The average net out-of-pocket increase per incoming student is expected to be around $1,978 annually. As you can imagine, it is never an easy decision for us to make to increase tuition and fees.
As the primary races are coming to a close, everyone is focusing on the top of the ballot. Down ballot races often get lost in the shuffle, even though they directly affect our community. LTVN's Jacob Stowers attended a panel to hear from local candidates on what they intend to do for McLennan County.
At this point in the election, most eyes are on the top of the ballot, while candidates near the bottom go overlooked. Because of this, it's important that people research all the candidates they're voting for. One issue that came up across several panels was how to best use public resources equitably.
Of course, nobody wants to increase taxes, but we have to use the budget. We have to budget wisely, we have to make smart choices, and we have to determine needs versus wants and prioritize what's important.
Concerns about public safety and the courts also arose during the conversations.
When people understand clearly how the process works, and if they happen to be a part of the process, if they feel respected, then community trust and safety builds from there.
Candidates also said that consistency and predictability are essential to ensure everyone is treated equally under the law in court.
So after years of practicing law, one thing I can tell you is the most important thing a court can do is be consistent in its rulings. They have to be predictable. You have to know that when you go before a court, you're not going to be treated any differently than anybody else.
These down ballot races may not receive as much attention as the congressional and gubernatorial races. However, the people in those positions directly affect how the community operates and how tax dollars are spent. For Lariat TV News, I'm Jacob Stowers.
A new Bachelor of Science in Biomedical Engineering was approved for Baylor students during the recent Board of Regents meeting. LTVN's Owen Carson has more.
The Baylor School of Engineering and Computer Science is set to provide students with a new access point into the field of biomedical engineering.
The demand for biomedical engineers grows not only in Texas, but across our nation. Employment in the field is increasing or expected to grow about 5% a year. And this particular discipline aligns very well with Baylor Indeeds by expanding our engineering and healthcare programs. And so we're looking forward to seeing the impact that degree program will have.
This new degree will pull from other aspects of engineering, but will better equip biomedical-focused Baylor students for their job in the future.
So I would say, we're basically pulling together the strengths of mechanical engineering and electrical engineering into a new program so that we can focus more on the biomedical aspects of biomedical engineering.
This engineering degree will expand the scope of what students will be able to do in their time at Baylor, along with the impact they will provide for future endeavors.
The electrical engineering, but heavy mechanical and electrical together. And in the workforce, they will be working with mechanical and electrical engineers. So within our program, they will be doing their capstone design with mechanical and electrical engineers, but they will bring that special human factors focus, medical aspect.
For Lariat TV News, I'm Owen Carson. The Cameron Park Zoo has some adorable new residents hopping into town. The zoo just welcomed 2 kangaroos, Dr. Roolittle and Ladybug, along with a baby wallaby to their brand new exhibit. Zoo officials say the trio is settling in well, giving visitors a chance to get an up-close look at the playful animals. New kangaroo and wallaby habitat is now open to the public, adding even more excitement for families looking to explore something new this season.
To allow guests to have a more close-up interactions with our kangaroos and wallabies. And we just hope that they get to learn a lot and appreciate the species as a whole.
At the Hippodrome Theater in Waco, current Democratic State Representative and Senate candidate James Tellerico took the stage to discuss his vision for the future of Texas. LTVN's Jacob Stowers spoke to him at the event to discuss his thoughts on faith, higher education, and the policies he wants to see carried out in the state.
At the Hippodrome Theater, Texas House Representative and Senate candidate James Tallarico held a rally to discuss how he intends to bring unity and change to the state of Texas.
Hate is boring. Hate is predictable. Hate can't lower our energy bills. Hate can't teach a child how to read. Hate can't build a future.
For some Texans, Tallarico's combined messaging about faith and politics hits close to home.
He offers Christianity without being Christian nationalists. He allows people to have an option outside of the Republican Party to express their faith in a way that shows God's loving and caring while still not agreeing with how the right has co-opted Christianity.
Tallarico emphasizes that proper representation and healing partisan divides goes beyond party lines.
Well, the reason that I showed up here in Waco is because I want the folks here to know that I want to be their representative. Whether they're a Democrat, an independent, or Republican, or whether they've never voted before, I want to fight for them. I want to fight to lower the cost of their housing. I want to fight for their education, both their K-12 schools and also their institutions of higher education. I know how important Baylor is here in the Waco community.
James Tallarico is currently running a tight primary race against the representative of Texas District 30, Jasmine Crockett, that will be decided on March 3rd. The winning candidate of that primary race will then move on to face the winner of the Republican primary in the Texas general election ending on Tuesday, November 3rd. For Lariat TV News, I'm Jacob Stowers.
Next, a Baylor student has an important presentation at the United Nations soon.
And Waco got its own song written by famous content creators. Keep it here.
I'll never get used to this. I'll never get used to this. This is how I wanna live. Forever we'll be singing like, oh, I'll never get used to this. I'll never get used to this. I'll never get used to this. This is how I wanna live. This is how I wanna live. Forever we'll be singing like, oh, I'll never get used to this.
Two members of the Baylor community are set to speak at the United Nations next month. The presentations will take place during the Commission on the Status of Women, focusing on gender equality and women's rights. Ayana Jamila and Zia Pakanawala will join delegations representing the Federation of Zoroastrian Association of North America. During the sessions, they will each present a proposal based on their research over the past year, focusing on expanding access to cervical cancer screenings through a decentralized approach on women and their roles in the field of education.
My hope is honestly to shift awareness to access and making sure that we're actually taking structural change and making sure that we're actively going about this problem. We're not just talking about it, we're seeking for answers and seeking for equity in healthcare. Yeah.
So my academic work really lies on a very simple idea. If we want a world where women and girls have full access to justice, we have to start with how we train our teachers.
The healthcare panel will be held virtually on March 11th, and the education panel will be in New York on March 18th.
Two content creators known for turning cities into viral original songs have brought one of their latest tracks to Central Texas. LTVN's Abby Roper has more on how Waco got its own tune.
From Baylor traditions to Waco's rich history, social media duo Austin and Colin say that every city has their own sound, and now Waco has its very own viral song.
Welcome to Waco, the six-shooter junction.
With hundreds of thousands of followers across multiple platforms, Nashville-based social media duo Austin Beaver and Colin Cooper have built a brand around capturing cities and places through music. But instead of traveling to every place they feature, their process begins online. They dive into local news, social media groups, searching for landmarks, legends, and local lingo.
You know, like Austin said, dive into Reddit, dive into Facebook to find the more specific things that connect with people. Because on Reddit, you're going to find the most like those are like, you actually get to see people, their own comments and how many people agree with those comments. And so, you know, making the beat, doing the research, and then at some point we'll meet up and record the song.
Local knowledge, from Waco restaurant hotspots to well-known figures like Virgil with the Sticks, is woven into the lyrics. These hyper-specific references and attention to detail create the strongest reactions.
They know about this guy, and that's kind of what creates such a visceral reaction with like the Waco song or anything like Tampa or other cities, is like when you see a really specific piece of information that you thought you were the only person that knew about it, it kind of like blows your mind a little bit. So we try to fit as many of those kind of things in there as we can.
The Waco edition joins a growing list of cities and places they've transformed into a short-form music video. And despite not being from Texas, they say that the research and intentionality make all the difference.
Sometimes you think that we're from here, and that's kind of the magic to it. And then when you find out you don't, you're just like, I don't even know what to say. Like, that's crazy.
For Lariat TV News, I'm Abby Roper.
Baylor students are doing more than just attending class. Many are gaining real-world experience through on-campus employment. Student employees support a range of campus operations, from office assistants to facility services, contributing to the day-to-day functioning of the university. With opportunities available across departments, students are finding jobs that fit their schedules and career goals. For more information, you can search Baylor Student Job Board or go to its Instagram at Baylor Student Jobs.
We usually tell them, hey, this is what it needs to look like. This is how you kind of clean it up, right? If they're having issues in the middle of the interview process or in the middle of the kind of the hiring process, right? They think they're stuck. We'll usually kind of advise them on where they are in the process, what they can expect later on, and then even as far as onboarding tasks, direct deposit, all that fun stuff. Going to help them with that as well.
A 21-year-old entrepreneur is bringing family tradition to the heart of Waco. Marin Small shows us how Edgar Gomez turned faith, family, and food into a growing business.
At Sison Taco, Edgar Gomez has transformed his passion for food into a place where culture, family, and community come together, determined to make his mark. You've probably seen his food truck in various campus events, but just at 21 years old, Edgar Gomez opened his own restaurant with recipes passed down from his grandmother and mother. Gomez hopes to continue to share the legacy with every dish at Sison Tacos.
I get to share like a bit of what I would experience as like growing up, as what we would usually eat at home. So it makes me feel like everyone's getting like a taste of what my mom used to make.
While building his business, Gomez was also enrolled in Baylor's 6-month Business Innovation Program. He says the program gave him hands-on experience and helped him understand what it truly takes to run a business.
Learning from people who have multiple years in business and just local people who already had a bit of understanding of the business here in Waco, and so just being able to learn from them.
For Gomez, owning a taco business in Waco is about more than just serving food. It's about building a community.
I hope that we can be a local staple of Waco, and be recognized for our food and culture as well. So not only just food, but hoping that I can grow community as well within Waco.
With every taco he serves, Gomez isn't just feeding Waco. He's sharing his story, his culture, and a piece of home. For Lariat TV News, I'm Marin Small. You don't have to travel to Hollywood to see big talent. This weekend, local performers took center stage for Waco's Got Talent, a competition that's quickly becoming a community favorite. Riley Painter has the story.
Have you ever thought if you had a good enough talent to be on America's Got Talent? Well, here at the Performing Arts Community Center, the nationally known show becomes a little more local here in Waco.
This is the second year we've done it here at the PAC. Last year was our first year at the PAC. I've done it for since about 2011 at schools I've taught at, but this is our second year and going strong. We'll do it every year, the third week of February.
Contestants of all ages stepped into the spotlight, each showing their own unique skills. The event gives local artists a chance to perform in front of a live audience, celebrate creativity, and connect with others who share a passion for the arts.
I almost did it because of my accident. This was my first time actually getting up and moving around. I didn't know if I was going to be able to do it, and I pushed through, and it was a wonderful night.
Early ticket sales had some worried the crowd would be small, but that quickly changed once the doors opened.
We only had like 30 people who bought tickets before, and I was like, oh, it's gonna be a little small show, but then over 100 come in the door, and we're having to throw chairs out, and people were just so excited and so supportive and so kind to each other. All the competitors were so nice to each other, and it was just a great environment of performing arts. It really was.
A night that started with uncertainty ended with a standing ovation and a packed house. With growing community support and a stage full of local talent, Waco's Got Talent is proving the show is here to stay. For Lariat TV News, I'm Riley Painter.
Blessed are the catalysts, sparking invention from the unknown. Strong are the generous, taking up the call to serve the world. Needed are the peacemakers, seeking common ground for the common good. But don't worry, you can still be fierce on game days. The work you do is faith in action, fueled by the light burning inside you. The world needs who you were made to be. Dare to be you, indeed.
Baylor women's basketball dominated Kansas State in an 80-54 win Monday, and I have more from the court.
Powered by a dominant third quarter performance, Baylor women's basketball pulled an 80-54 win against Kansas State Monday.
We're going to find things that we need to adjust, that we need to fix, and we're going to come into practice with a different mindset. I think that over the past few days, for sure, that we've come into practice with the idea that we're willing to do anything to win, whether that's putting yourself on the floor, whether that's making an extra pass, whether it's somebody's only scoring 2 points instead of 20. Like, it doesn't matter. We're willing to do whatever it takes to win.
Talia Scott and Kirsten Johnson got the game going with back-to-back triples, while Joanna Van Geitenbeek stretched the lead with a layup.
Well, the biggest yell of the game was when I told them in the huddle that, you know, we wanted to keep pressing on, and there was no reason to hold back because they were about to have 2 days off, and they need it. Their minds need it. Their bodies need it. You know, I just think it's important this time of year. This has been a tough stretch for us.
The Oriana Little-Page Bugs opened the second half by securing her 12th double-double of the season, but in the end, the Bears scored 13 three-pointers and 11 turnovers.
Just knowing that those memories and how much we've all grown as players and people here has been really special. I really, really hope it's not the last one. If we take care of business, I think we'll have a chance to be back here again with all of our fans. But just very grateful to have the opportunity to have been over here.
Baylor wraps up regular season play on the road against TCU Sunday. For Lariat TV News, I'm Brooke Cranford.
On Tuesday, men's basketball faced off against number 2 Arizona at Foster. Aiden Richmond has coverage from the close game.
On Tuesday, men's basketball took on the number 2 ranked University of Arizona Wildcats in an 87-80 loss. The Bears were up 41-34 going into half, marking the first time this season the team would lose a game at home while leading at halftime.
Man, I think it's just patience. It's the hardest part. God's time is the best time, and sometimes you want stuff right here, right now, and that's not always the answer for you. And so I think we're going to have really, really good carryover. We learned a lot from this game, and we showed that we can compete, and I feel like a lot of big games we've shown that we can compete at a high level and that we're right there. So it's just, instead of being right there, we just did it. So that's the hardest part.
While Baylor's Cameron Carr had the game-high scoring mark with 26 points, Arizona would out-rebound the Bears 23-11 in the second half. The Wildcats capitalized with 15 points from second chances, along with 24 points in the paint, and shoot 4 for 8 from the three-pointer.
Their size, physicality is real. We'll watch the film. We really wanted to try to gang rebound. We needed our guards to get 6, 7, 8, 9 rebounds because it was going to be hard enough to keep the other guys off the glass. Free throw rebounds inexcusable.
Baylor is headed to Orlando for a matchup against UCF on Saturday. The Bears have one home game left on March 7th against the University of Utah Utes. For Lariat TV News, I'm Aiden Richmond.
On Sunday, number 18 women's basketball is headed to Fort Worth to take on number 11 TCU in a matchup that is set to host ESPN College Game Day. The Bears are coming off an 80-54 win over Kansas State. The last time the Bears faced off against TCU was earlier in the month when Baylor fell 83-67 at Foster. Olivia Miles scored 40 points on the Bears with 10 three-pointers, while Marta Suarez had 27 points. That win for the Horned Frogs put them in a safe place to secure the first place spot in the conference.
Putting yourself on the floor, whether that's making an extra pass, whether it's somebody's only scoring 2 points instead of 20, it doesn't matter. We're willing to do whatever it takes to win. And I think going into that game, that's really important from everybody on the team. And we're just coming in with a different mentality than I feel like we've had over the course of the year.
To end the season in second place, the Bears will need to beat TCU and West Virginia to lose to Cincinnati. Tip-off is set for 3 p.m. on Sunday. You can watch the game on ESPN. Baylor Track and Field is back in Lubbock to compete in the Big 12 Indoor Championship that begins Friday. The Baylor women placed third at last year's Big 12 meet and the men finished ninth. Molly Haywood set the record last year with a vault of 15 feet and 1.5 inches and is ranked first in the league and fourth nationally. Tyra Kelly has already broke her program record in the 200 meters twice in Lubbock and is currently ranked second nationally.
Yeah, just living in the moment, executing. I think we've talked a lot about just stacking good days, like brick by brick, making sure that don't worry about your opponent, just worry about yourself, and just take care of your business.
On Tuesday, baseball took on Stephen F. Austin at home after a weekend away at Dell Diamond in Round Rock. Aiden Richmond has coverage from the game.
On Tuesday, Baylor baseball faced off against SFA in a 9-8 victory. Heavy winds blowing out to right field helped Brady Janusak and Tice Armstrong go yard and hit solo homers to get the Bears on the board in the first inning.
You know Tice can leave the yard at any time. You know, you can hit the ball 115. So it's always good to see Tice hit. I learned a lot from Tice. So, I mean, he just tells me how he thinks about his at-bats. You know, just being a freshman, I don't have a whole lot of experience being in college baseball. So being a vet guy like him, I ask him questions and he answers.
The Bears added to their lead, making it 5-0 at the bottom of the third. But during the 5th and 6th inning, Baylor's bullpen gave up 8 runs on 6 hits to the Lumberjacks, tying up the game at 8-8 after Baylor managed to get back the 3 runs they dropped during the 5th.
I mean, we trust all our guys to get it done in those opportunities. Brighton came in, he had a great AB. I mean, Janusak perfectly executed one of our running plays, and it worked out for us. That's what we practice for, that's what we drill into our heads, so it was pretty cool to see.
Still tied going into the bottom of the 8th with Brady Janusak getting to third off a Pearson Reebok sacrifice bunt and a fielding error by SFA shortstop Ethan Pena off of a hit by Travis Sanders. Janusak got the signal. He stole home to get the go-ahead run.
We've got to be able to use our athleticism any way we can. And you know, our base running showed up at the end of the game. We stole some bags, caused some havoc, created some things there. You know, early in the game, the wind's blowing out a little bit more. We're letting it travel, trying to win games however we can, right? And so it's about swinging the bat and using your athleticism and stealing bags.
Caleb Bunch closed the night out for the Bears, picking up his 2nd win of the season while giving up no hits or walks. Baylor is headed to Houston for the Bruce Bolt College Classic, where the team will start the weekend off against number 11 and undefeated Ole Miss on Friday. For Lariat TV News, I'm Aiden Richmond.
Baseball is heading down to Houston for its 2nd consecutive weekend tournament. The Bears are currently 5-3 on this season. They lost all 3 games in Round Rock last weekend, scoring just 1 run in each of their ranked matchups. Baylor will take on 3 more ranked opponents this weekend: number 11 Ole Miss, number 3 Texas, and number 23 UTSA. The Bears will get things started with 9-0 Ole Miss, which will be playing its first Power 4 conference game of the season.
Playing really good people, Ole Miss, Texas, and UTSA combined. I think they're 23-1 right now as a group of teams. So it'll be a challenge, but that's great, and our guys are excited about it. I'm excited about it. Let's go see what we can get done.
First pitch is at 3:05 p.m. Friday from Dakin Park, and the game can be streamed on Astros.com and YouTube. That wraps it up for sports this week. Be sure to stay up to date on all things Baylor athletics by following the Lariat on social media. Back to you guys.
Thanks, Brooke. That's all for this week on Lariat TV News. Be sure to check out our Lariat socials for all things Baylor and Waco news.
We'll be back next Wednesday for a special newscast before spring break. Until then, have a great week, Baylor family. And as always, sick 'em Bears.